Your parent goes to bed at 9 and is wide awake by 4 in the morning. They nap in the chair after lunch. They tell you they just don't need as much sleep anymore. And somewhere along the way you accepted that, because it sounds right, because everyone says it, because it seems like the kind of thing that just happens with age. I need to challenge that assumption directly, because the research on this has shifted dramatically in the last decade. And what we now understand about sleep and the aging brain is something every family caring for an older adult needs to know. Less sleep is not a normal feature of healthy aging. It is one of the most powerful modifiable risk factors for cognitive decline, depression, cardiovascular disease, and fall risk that we have identified in geriatric medicine. And the reason it goes unaddressed in millions of older adults is precisely because everyone, including sometimes the doctors, assumes it's just what getting older looks like. Today I'm going to show you what's actually happening in the brain during sleep, what the changes that deserve attention look like, and what your family can do about them starting this week. Before we go further, if you're watching this and thinking of someone in your life who needs to hear it, share this video right now. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it before you forget. Every week one published content exactly like this, clinical, practical, and built for families navigating the care of an aging parent. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Let me start with the biology because it changes everything. During deep sleep, the brain does something it cannot do while awake. It clears waste. There is a system called the glymphatic system, essentially a drainage network that removes toxic byproducts that accumulate during waking hours. The most critical of these is amyloid beta, the same protein that forms the plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. The glymphatic system is almost exclusively active during deep sleep, and deep sleep is the stage most severely reduced in older adults. So the picture that emerges from current research is this: aging reduces deep sleep. Reduced deep sleep impairs glymphatic clearance. Impaired clearance allows amyloid to accumulate, and accumulation is associated with accelerated cognitive decline and increased Alzheimer's risk. This is not a distant theoretical concern. It is a mechanism that is active, measurable, and in meaningful ways modifiable. And it means that when your parent sleeps poorly, the consequences are not limited to feeling tired the next day. They are neurological, they are cumulative, and they compound over years. Point 1. The sleep changes that are actually normal versus the ones that deserve attention. It is true that sleep shifts with age. Older adults tend to go to bed earlier and wake earlier. They have somewhat less deep sleep than younger adults. These are real, documented changes. But there is a significant difference between those normal shifts and what many families are watching and accepting without question. Waking 2, 3, or 4 times a night and being unable to return to sleep is not normal aging. It has identifiable causes: pain, medication effects, sleep apnea, anxiety, that can be evaluated and treated. Sleeping 6 hours or fewer consistently is not a sign the body needs less sleep. Adults of all ages require 7 to 9 hours for adequate neurological function. And excessive daytime sleepiness, falling asleep in the chair repeatedly, napping for 2 or more hours daily, is a clinical signal that nighttime sleep is insufficient, not a personality trait. If your parent is experiencing any of these patterns, the appropriate response is not acceptance. It is a conversation with their doctor. Point 2. Sleep apnea in older adults is massively underdiagnosed, and the consequences are severe. Sleep apnea is dramatically more common in adults over 65 than in younger populations, affecting an estimated 40 to 70% of older adults. The majority are undiagnosed, and the reason it goes undetected is that the classic presentation, loud snoring, gasping, is less consistent in older adults. Many simply sleep restlessly, wake frequently, and feel unrefreshed, none of which sounds like a breathing disorder to most families. The consequences of untreated sleep apnea are serious. Repeated microarousals eliminate deep sleep entirely. Repeated drops in oxygen stress the cardiovascular system, raising the risk of atrial fibrillation and stroke. And the cognitive effects of untreated sleep apnea, memory problems, slowed processing, executive function difficulties, overlap substantially with early dementia, meaning a treatable condition is being attributed to inevitable decline. Ask at the next medical appointment, "Has my parent ever been evaluated for sleep apnea?" For most older adults, the answer will be no. Home sleep testing is now widely available, requires no overnight lab stay, and can identify or rule out the condition in a single night. If you're finding this useful, take a second right now to like this video. It's a small action that makes a real difference in helping this content reach other families who need it. Like and keep watching. Point 3. Medications are silently destroying sleep quality in millions of older adults. Several classes of medications extremely commonly prescribed to older adults have direct documented effects on sleep architecture. Beta blockers suppress AEE sleep. Corticosteroids cause nighttime waking. Diuretics taken in the afternoon or evening cause repeated waking to urinate. And certain antidepressants alter sleep stages in ways that reduce restorativeness even when duration seems adequate. Then there are medications taken specifically for sleep. This deserves to be said clearly. Sedative sleep medications do not produce the same brain activity as natural sleep. They cause sedation, which is not the same thing. They suppress the deep and REM sleep stages the brain actually needs while producing the sensation of having slept. And long-term use in older adults is associated with increased fall risk, cognitive impairment, and, in multiple large studies, increased dementia risk. If your parent takes any sleep medication regularly, ask the prescribing doctor directly. Is this appropriate for long-term use at their age? And what would a supervised taper look like? That is a clinically appropriate question that any physician should be willing to engage with honestly. Point 4. Depression is hiding inside sleep complaints and being missed entirely. Early morning awakening, waking at 3 or 4 in the morning, and being unable to return to sleep is a classic and specific symptom of depression. Not just poor sleep, depression, and it is one of the most commonly reported sleep complaints in older adults, and one of the most consistently overlooked. If your parents' sleep problems are accompanied by low mood, withdrawal from activities they used to enjoy, reduced appetite, or increased irritability, the sleep is not the primary problem. It is a symptom of something treatable underneath it. Treating the depression will do more for the sleep than any sleep intervention on its own. Bring this up explicitly at the next appointment. I've noticed changes in their sleep and also in their mood and energy. I'd like both evaluated together. That framing ensures the full picture is seen. Point 5. The sleep environment most older adults are living with is directly working against good sleep, and most of it is immediately fixable. Light exposure is one of the most powerful regulators of the circadian system. Older adults who spend most of their day indoors often experience a weakened circadian signal that makes falling asleep and staying asleep harder. The intervention is simple: 15 to 20 minutes of bright light, ideally natural sunlight, within the first hour of waking. This is one of the most evidence-supported non-pharmacological sleep interventions available, and it costs nothing. Alcohol is worth naming directly. Many older adults use it as a sleep aid. It does help with falling asleep, but it fragments sleep in the second half of the night, suppressing REM sleep and increasing waking. An older adult who has 2 glasses of wine in the evening and wakes at 3 in the morning may be experiencing a direct effect of the alcohol, not a sleep disorder. And the bedroom itself, slightly cool, dark, and quiet, is not a preference. It is a physiological requirement. A television on during sleep, a room that is too warm, light coming through the curtains, all of these disrupt sleep architecture even without conscious waking. This is the moment in the video where I want to ask you something. If you have a sibling, a friend, or anyone in your life watching an older parent struggle with sleep and attributing it to age, send them this video right now. What I'm describing today is not widely known outside of clinical settings, and it changes what families ask for at medical appointments. Share it. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe now, because what's coming builds directly on everything we're covering here. Here's what your family can do starting this week. Today, observe the sleep pattern honestly. What time does your parent go to bed? How many times do they wake? How do they feel in the morning? Is there excessive daytime sleepiness? Write it down. That documentation becomes the basis for a productive medical conversation. This week, adjust the environment. Dark, cool, quiet room. No television during sleep. No alcohol in the evening. Morning light within the first hour of waking. These changes cost nothing and have immediate impact. This month, bring the full picture to the doctor. Describe the pattern. Ask whether sleep apnea evaluation is appropriate. Ask whether any current medications could be affecting sleep architecture. Ask whether mood should be assessed alongside sleep. And if your parent is on a sedative sleep medication regularly, ask about long-term appropriateness. Here's what I want you to carry with you from today. Sleep is not optional maintenance. In an aging brain, it is the primary mechanism for clearing the proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. It is when memory consolidates, emotion regulates, and the systems that keep the body functioning restore themselves. And it is one of the most powerful levers available for protecting cognitive health over time. Less sleep is not normal aging. Disrupted sleep is not something to accept. And the assumption that nothing can be done is costing older adults years of cognitive health that are genuinely recoverable. You now know what to look for, what questions to ask, and what to change. The families who protect their parents' cognitive health most effectively are not the luckiest ones. They are the most informed ones. If this video gave you something useful, something you're going to bring to a doctor, share with a sibling, or act on this week, please like it and share it. It helps this content reach other families who are navigating exactly what you're navigating. And subscribe if you haven't already. We are building something genuinely useful here. Honest, clinical, practical content for families who want to do right by the people they love. Next week we're talking about something that affects nearly every older adult, and almost no family recognizes it for what it is. The difference between normal grief and clinical depression in older adults, why it's so consistently missed, and what a family member can do when the person they love has stopped being themselves. It's one of the most important conversations we'll have on this channel. I'll see you there.